Apple versus Samsung. Two giants. One showdown. Which one truly impresses? On the left, Apple's iPhone 16 Pro Max. Power. Refined. Apple. On the right, Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold 5. Unfold your world. Let's skip the buzzwords and dive into what actually matters. Each category earns points, and at the end, you'll see exactly which flagship takes the crown. The winner might surprise you.
Okay, so before we start smashing glass and folding screens here, let's lay out where we're going to compare these two. We're looking at display, performance, camera, battery, durability, gaming and multitasking, productivity, and security and biometrics. Yep, we've got 8 categories. That's a lot. Here's a mind map so you can see everything that's coming up.
All right, first up, display. Now, iPhone 16 Pro Max has a super bright screen, like 1782 nits peak. That's wild. Plus, it packs a really sharp 460 pixels per inch. And honestly, it's got a slimmer design that's way easier to hold. But sure, size does matter. And compared to the Fold 5, it's smaller at 6.9 inches. And you can't open it into a tablet, obviously. Now, Z Fold 5. This thing, it's basically a mini tablet in your pocket. 7.6 inches when you unfold it. Super versatile. Like, you can use it as a phone or whip it out as a tiny movie screen. Foldable tech is just sick. But there is a trade-off. It isn't as bright. Peaks at 1250 nits. And that crease down the middle? Yeah, it's still kinda obvious. So, even with the wow factor, Apple comes out ahead for display. Okay, performance, this is where things get spicy. The iPhone's rocking that new A18 Pro chip, and benchmark-wise, it just pulls ahead. 21% better on Antutu, more efficient, the whole deal. The catch? A bit less RAM, 8 gigabytes. If you want to brag about RAM, maybe don't. The Z Fold 5? It fights back with 12 gigabytes RAM. Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Not bad for multitasking, but it's running on last year's chip, so yeah, benchmarks aren't quite as high. Still, solid. But honestly, if you want raw speed, Apple still takes the crown here.
All right, let's talk cameras. The iPhone 16 Pro Max. Higher DxO mark rating, 5x optical zoom, killer video stabilization. If you're serious about snapping pics or shooting smooth reels, this thing rules. Only thing missing is Apple's not doing super slow-mo here. Flip to Z Fold 5. Triple cameras. And get this, you can record insane slow-mo at 960 FPS. Does it have the same telephoto range? Not really, and the stabilization isn't quite as legendary. So, huge props for cool slow-mo, but iPhone's camera package just feels more pro overall.
Oh, and here's something cool. Did you know the iPhone 16 Pro Max is 52.3 millimeters narrower than the Z Fold 5? That makes it way easier to hold, like genuinely comfy for day-to-day use. Next, battery. Now this is important because, seriously, who wants low battery anxiety? iPhone 16 Pro Max straight up wins. The endurance is nuts. We're talking 35 hours versus just 23 on the Fold 5. And a bigger battery too, 4685 versus 4400 milliamp hours. So if you're a serial scroller or can't put your phone down all day, yeah, this one's for you. Samsung's Fold does fast charging and has some adaptive refresh magic, but using that big screen, you'll see the battery drop quicker. So, gotta hand this one to iPhone. Durability. All right, here's something people always ask. iPhone 16 Pro Max is a tank. It's got IP68 water and dust resistance and a titanium frame. It's also newer, so you get those fresh materials. Now, the Fold 5, IPX8 for water, and Armor aluminum, which is pretty tough, but it skips dust protection. And with that foldable display, let's be real, there's more going on that can break. If you want a phone that can take some abuse, iPhone wins again, and it's not even close.
Gaming and multitasking. For the iPhone, it's all about smooth iOS gaming. Plus, that bright display means you can game outside, which, honestly, rules if you're into mobile gaming in crazy spots. But yeah, if you love split screen, iPhone just doesn't do it like Android does. Now, Z Fold 5 is made for this. Huge screen, multi-window, even S-Pen support for added control. That's epic for multitasking, streaming, playing. Almost feels like a tiny gaming tablet, but heavier when you open it.
and not every game loves the weird aspect ratio. Still, Samsung grabs the win here for sheer productivity and options.
Moving on, productivity. iPhone 16 Pro Max ties in with iOS 18, which is super smooth, especially if you're deep in the Apple ecosystem already. AirDrop, handoff, all that jazz. But its file management not as flexible, and it just can't do that true tablet mode. Galaxy Z Fold 5 flips the script. It's got app continuity, a desktop feel, and it's awesome if you want to create content or run lots of stuff at once. There's a learning curve, don't get me wrong, but for power users or anyone working on the go, Fold 5 blows the doors off here. Last but not least, security and biometrics. Apple's coming in with 3D Face ID and a secure enclave, which are super locked down. On the other hand, Samsung opts for a solid side-mounted fingerprint plus Knox security. The only missing part? No fancy Face ID 3D unlock. So honestly, both are super secure. So I'm calling this one a tie. So here's how it all shakes out, side by side. I've mapped out the scores so you can just see where each phone shines and where it maybe folds under pressure. Take a peek at the radar chart and notice those spikes in battery and durability for iPhone, while Samsung stretches out on gaming and productivity. So, end of the day, if you're all about camera magic, outrageous battery life, and that signature iOS flair, go iPhone 16 Pro Max. But if you get excited by giant screens, multitasking, and literally unfolding your phone into a tablet, man, the Galaxy Z Fold 5 is in a lane of its own. Your priorities decide the winner. All right, your turn. What do you think? Which innovation speaks to you more? Are you the refined powerhouse type, or do you want to unfold the future?